All right, welcome to day 4. How did your articles go? Hopefully, they just flowed from your mind. The freaking coronavirus just flowed around the world, right? Quickly, freely, with ease, super sick. Or maybe they flowed more like, I don't know, molasses from an Alaskan asses. I don't even know if that's a thing. Who knows, okay? But regardless, you got them done and you were here. Great freaking job, okay? I just got sweat in my eyes. I went to yoga and I just saw that in the camera. I was like, geez almighty. But today, regardless, even with sweat in my eyes, we're going to perfect your elevator pitch, okay? Because perfecting our elevator pitch will, man, it'll help us create amazing amounts of traction in this business. You know, it'll help us raise money, find deals, open up doors that we didn't know existed. You know, I'll say this. Most people struggle with their elevator pitches for a couple reasons. One, they don't really take time to think through the structure, right? They just try to come up with it on the spot. That doesn't work. We have to put some time and effort into this. Just like anything, we have to put time and effort into it. And second, they think that the elevator pitch is a tool to get them what they want. Listen, our elevator pitch isn't about us or what we want, okay? It's about other people and, you know, what they want, what their problems are, and how we can help them, right? So, for example, here is how, you know, most investors answer the question, what do you do? Something along the lines of, I'm a real estate investor. We buy some apartments, and I mean, what do you do? Obviously, not ideal. Okay. Now, if they have some training or a little experience, you know, they might answer with something like, "Well, mahalo. I mean, for hell's sake, thank you for asking. I've been waiting for that. We actually buy commercial real estate in emerging real estate markets all across the U.S." Or, you know, maybe they say something like, I work to identify economic growth factors in certain areas, actually, and when we buy apartments in those geographical areas, I found that those economic growth factors help to provide substantial returns. That's them waiting, praying that the other person shows some interest, okay? The typical answers range from way too basic to way too complicated. Some might think they're boring. Some might be intrigued, right? But I'll tell you this. They don't fulfill basic human needs. Their pitch doesn't fulfill any basic human needs. Here's the deal, I promise you, okay? If you use those examples enough, someone will eventually bite. But man, we're gonna have to ho-oh-mow like a son of a bitch to make that happen. And for those of you with bad memories, that means to endure with diligence. So now I'm using it in a negative connotation, okay? We have to fulfill basic human needs. We have to, right? In order for, you know, our elevator pitch to be effective, we have to fulfill the basic human need of survival and thrival, right? So in order for our elevator pitch to be effective, we have to fulfill the basic human needs of survive and thrive, okay? Survive and thrive. Now, the 5 rules of, you know, an effective elevator pitch. Okay, the 5 rules. Number 1 is to identify the problems. Okay, identify the problems, essentially the human needs, okay? Once again, most people only care about themselves, right? And their problems that they have, the selfish sons of beasts. But in order for us to be effective in our message, we have to identify what those problems are, right? So, what are those problems, okay? Some potential problems are stock market volatility. Their 401k or IRA is underperforming. They're paying too much taxes. There's a slow road to retirement. They have lack of investment options, lack of passive income opportunities, lack of time to learn and acquire real estate, risk of single-family homes, right? All of these are potential problems, remember, to our investors. So, in order for us so first off, now we know what these problems are, right? So with that in mind, rule number 2 will be to identify the solutions, okay? We have to identify the solutions. So now that we've identified the problems, some of the problems, it only makes sense that we need to now identify, you know, solutions that we might have to help them. So how can we help them not only with survival, right, but with thrival? If that's not a word it needs to be, okay, that's a great word, thrival. Essentially, though, we need to answer 2 questions. What do we do, or what do we offer, okay? And how will it make their life better? Okay, and for the record, one of the best investment strategies in the world for consistent returns, right? So consistent returns, high returns, stability key. Stability is key. They've been just weathering the storm of the stock market. Stability is key. Tax incentives, okay? Multifamily offers some of the best tax incentives around out of any investment. Risk-adjusted returns, backed by a hard asset, they will love that. And then a hedge against inflation, okay? Once again, there's a lot of things that multifamily offers, and they'll like the sounds of that, trust me, okay? So rule 3 is then we need to keep it basic, clear, and concise. And listen, first and foremost, speed and clarity matter. Speed and clarity matter, okay? We want this less than 60 seconds. Our mind is wired for maximum efficiency and effectiveness, which means along with focusing on the needs, we need to speak, in the most basic language possible. And once again, wrap it up within 60 seconds, okay? Think of your elevator pitch like a story. Just make sure that it's a children's story, and a very short children's story, okay? Step 5 is we need a call to action. It is absolutely critical to have a call to action. Nothing else matters if they don't know how to participate or respond, okay? So that could be even a question to help them understand how to respond. There has to be a call to action. And then lastly, we need to practice, okay? We need to practice. We can't go in and just wing it, okay? Once again, practice makes progress. Practice makes progress. If you take time to structure steps 1 through 4 and then practice it, you will get, and then implement it, you will get results, period, okay? All right, let me show you some examples of how to properly answer the question of what do you do? And remember, at the most basic level, we are answering 3 questions. What do we offer? Okay, how will it make their life better? And what do they need to do, right, to take advantage of that? So, the quick version of this, okay? We buy apartments with people who want to own and benefit from real estate without having to deal with the hassles. Do you invest in real estate? Let's break this down for a second, okay? Think of the 5 steps. So, the 5 steps. The problem, hassles, right? The problem, hassles. The solution, own and benefit from real estate. Kept it very basic. There was a call to action at the end. They knew how to respond. And obviously I practiced it because I just freaking killed that elevator pitch, okay? Don't tell me different. All right, you're going to see that we have a bunch of options, okay? And really to help get your mind moving, okay, I'm not going to spend time reading through all these. Take some time to read through these. There are resources within your lesson here. Identify the 5 steps, steps in each of them, and then go create your own, okay? So we have the better options version, okay? The together we can do more version. We have the Robin Hood version, which I like this one. We have the single family to multifamily version, very, very common one. We also have the step-by-step version. I'm going to tell you right now that people love steps. People love steps. So do you, so do I, right? That's why this whole course is structured in steps. And then you have the short story version, super, super effective. And then you have the long story, okay? The longer story version, which this is probably my favorite, go-to option, and it is extremely effective. I'll give this one to you, okay? Okay, suppose you have some money and you want to invest that money into real estate, okay? But maybe you don't know how to identify a good property and don't necessarily want to be a landlord, okay? My company, MF Capital Partners, we do all the legwork, okay? So we would take, you and essentially allow you to benefit from owning real estate, but without having to deal with any of the hassles, right? We would partner your money with other investors' money and oversee everything from finding and buying the property to guaranteeing the loan, creating and implementing the business plan, and then eventually the sale of the property. Essentially, this allows us to, as a group, you and I, as a group, right, buy the biggest and best properties, which are primarily apartment buildings that none of us would have been able to buy on our own, right? And now, we don't have any available spots currently in any of our offerings, but I can certainly keep you posted in the future for future opportunities if you'd like me to. This is me waiting. And they always respond because it's good, okay? Yeah. Conclusion. Most people are pretty decent at defining what they do. They're pretty decent at that, but very few people take the time to define how what they do actually benefits other people, okay? That's the biggest thing I want you to take away from this lesson. So remember, we don't tell them what we do, right? We tell them how what we do will better their life. Remember that. Drill it into your mind. And then lastly, be proud of your business. This business, what we do is amazing. If you don't already know that, you will the minute you start having conversations. So your assignment today, review the examples in your course material. Take time to sit down and write out your elevator pitch. And remember to use your own personality. That is very, very important. And then practice it. Practice it, saying it out loud, in the mirror to a spouse, a friend, whatever. And then go strike up a conversation with a stranger and test it out, okay? Whew. Go have a conversation. Just make sure not to F it up, okay? I'm kidding. Go have fun. Don't overthink it. It's a stinging conversation.